this hearing. The freebie hearing that we were talking about, the Chief Justice of India says that cows and goats in rural area give livelihood for people. Such things cannot be put in watertight compartment. Some parties give bicycles as the woman can go to work. We have to see what is a freebie and what is welfare. I'm cutting across back to Ananya. Ananya, in a country like India, in a developing country with vast diversity like India, as the Chief Justice of India points out, it is a very intricate task to draw a distinction between what is a welfare policy versus what's a freebie. Take us through the key arguments that have been made through this hearing and what has the Supreme Court said so far.
Well, definitely, Mr. Gopal Sankar Narayanan, who was appearing for the Election Commission of India. Apart from that, Mr. Vijay Hansaria, who was appearing for the petition, one of the petitioners. Vijay Hansaria categorically argued that there has to be a performer, like in the case of criminal antecedents, wherein the promises should be disclosed by political parties when they go in for election period, and various other suggestions were given, like a committee of experts headed by the Finance Commission should be formed in order to deal with this particular issue, though it is a very, very thin line between a freebie and a scheme for welfare, which is the complex question of law, and this is what has been observed by the Chief Justice of India as well, clearly saying that there is a very, very thin line and it is very difficult to decide as to what is a freebie and what is not. Apart from that, what has been said by the Chief Justice of India is a very, very important statement that has come in from the Chief, where he says that all the political parties, whether it's the BJP, whether it's the Congress party, or on either of the sides, but remember that in this case, political parties are on one side while BJP and everyone else is on other side.
And Ananya, very briefly, we have to move on to another story, but I want you to reiterate the stand that the Union government and the Solicitor General has taken on this matter.
Since the very beginning has been not supporting freebies, clearly saying that it can lead us to financial disasters, and definitely this should be barred. In fact, Vikas Singh, who's appearing for one of the petitioners, also today mentioned this, also today made a similar submission saying that political parties are trying to hijack the debate by saying we are doing it with the motive of upliftment of marginalized people, but then fiscal discipline also needs to be considered. We have to see how much is being spent, because we don't want to go into a situation like Sri Lanka, is what Mr. Vikas Singh had mentioned. A similar stance which the central government too is putting forth, clearly saying that it can lead us to economical disaster if at all freebies are continued to be operated.
Ananya, do you also want to talk about the past precedents that we have in law? There were certain occasions in the past as well where the Supreme Court had the opportunity of debating whether giving television sets is a freebie. We had some fascinating arguments coming from the stalwarts like Mr. Arvind Dattar as well. Are there any past precedents that guide the Supreme Court hearing right now?
Well, there are various past precedents. There are various petitions also. Different kind of petitions have been pending, whether it's the Balasubramaniam case, which was being mentioned, which was being talked about by Mr. Singhvi today, which he clearly said that it is against this particular law, and there has to be some. But at the end of it, the CGI says is particularly off the view clearly, as it can be seen from his observations, that a debate should happen in the Parliament over this issue, and the Parliament should form a legislation into this particular case.
Absolutely.
So the court also...
And Ananya, I think on that note, you've struck a right chord when you say that the court is also largely of the inclination, through the observations, that this is largely a legislative/policy matter, and perhaps Parliament is the right avenue for it. Thank you, Ananya, for getting us all the details on this entire story.